writer
that's what I
by
like to call
training?
myself. Yeah, and I've been paid for my writing, so it makes me a
makes you a show off.
It makes me a show off, and a professional writer. Because that's a definition I've checked.
Been paid any amount of money from now on. Professional writer.
Professional writer, yeah.
Do you see yourself more as... I'm belittling you, you're a great writer, of course.
Of course.
You see yourself more as a journalist or more as a kind of writer of fiction?
More of a... I prefer writing fiction, but I enjoy the stuff that comes out of the great publications of the world. Like I enjoy reading the New York Times, the Guardian not so much.
Their journalism rather than the...
Yeah, their journalism, and I love writing that every now and then.
Yeah.
But I think it's a mix of both.
Opinion pieces or like current affairs journalism?
I like opinion pieces, and I also like... But I love the long form style of journalism, which is what I'm doing. I'll be doing with this publication that we're starting, right? Half in One. So it's that, and the podcast that we're doing is also an extension of that.
Yeah. What's the motive behind the name, by the way?
Half in One. I don't know. It just seemed it looked really good when I wrote on a piece of paper.
Okay.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with sizes of anything.
Okay. Good to clarify.
Yeah, right hand to God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm honest.
Yeah.
So that was that, and the long form style of journalism where you take time to investigate, you take time to do your research, and do you remember a website by the name of Grantland?
No.
It was a sports website that was started by an American sports writer, Bill Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very successful for the years that it was on. ESPN bought it for a few $1 million. It became an ESPN property, and they were approached to writing about popular culture, TV shows, cinema, sports personalities, which original and some of the best I've read so far.
Yeah.
And Half in One is inspired by that publication, right? What we're doing, and stuff that I hope every now and then you also find the time to write for us, right? For the publication. So that was the inspiration, and obviously that comes from years of just being a fan of good writing, of just reading.
Yeah.
Which you're a huge reader yourself.
Yeah,
you probably read more than I do.
I read a lot. I have that kind of a background in creative writing as well, but it split towards doing more academic stuff. So I could have done a full creative writing masters, and I turned it into a half and half and put more emphasis on the academic stuff. But all the creative writing I would do, I don't think I'm a great writer because I see myself very trapped in writing about myself and my own perspectives, and I find it very hard to see things from other points of view. So it would always be me in circumstances that it was like curry enthusiasm. It was like a bastardized version of myself in different circumstances. Which,
why do you think that is? Why do you think you're not able to...
Lack of imagination, probably. I don't think I have a particularly vivid imagination. I don't have a very vivid imagination, so I think I get...
But you could make that work if you wanted to.
To a point, but I think it would become quite samey, and with all these kinds of artistic things, I don't see the point in pursuing something where you can't achieve the level of the standard you enjoy. Right? I wouldn't want to be in a crap band. If I was in a band, I'd want it to be a really cool band, and I can't play the guitar, so I'm not in a band, right? Or I can't write like Cormac McCarthy, so I like reading that. I don't like reading lesser fiction, so why should I write lesser fiction for other people to struggle?
You know what though? If more people thought like you, there would be fewer creative writing programs in the world.
Probably would, yeah.
Is
that a good or a bad thing?
I don't know, because
there's definitely the creative writing-ification of fiction, right? Like loads of novels come out of creative writing workshops, and it's just very clear.
Now more so than ever before.
Yeah, right.
I think most of the providers in the past few years now who've gotten book deals, the majority of them would have had to come out of a creative writing program.
Yeah.
Like the MFA in America.
Yeah.
And of course the MST here in Oxford.
Yeah, the big one in Oxford. The big one in UEA. Is the big one, I think.
It's more, it's more academic though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, is it the Ohio Writers Workshop's the other big?
That is in America the biggest MFA, but there's more money in America. Like most of the writing fellowship that you would have for your MFA program, the Master of Fine Arts as it's called, are in America, and programs like Boston University is a top 30 program. Again, the Iowa Writers Workshop, which is pretty prestigious.
Yeah.
That's where what's her name? The who's the writer of the Luminaries?
Eleanor Cantor.
Eleanor Cantor, yeah. She's also a graduate of the Oxford Writers Workshop.
Okay.
Yeah, that book is something that I'm extremely.
She's from New Zealand. Is she?
She's New Zealand. She's the youngest Booker Prize winner.
Yeah.
She won it when she was 27, 26.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing, right?
Great going, yeah.
Because most writers don't start their careers until they're in their early mid-30s.
Yeah.
So I still have time to
get there. Yeah.
To get there.
Yeah, well, I mean, young writers' prizes usually if everyone up to about 40, right? So being young in the world of writing is very different to being a young singer or whatever.
Yeah, because there's quite a bit of pressure to get it right. Like you do take your whole lifetime to come up with
a writer needs to live a life more so than I guess lots of great pop music's about ephemeral kind of teenage emotions. Great writing's usually or often about life and relationships and things that take time to accrue experience of, right? Whereas Boy Meets Girl and Fall in Love, 3-minute pop song, you can have those emotions at 17 and be Phil Spector and write those songs when you're that age. Yeah.
And then the same is true of the art form of comedy. Like you need to have experience. Like you won't find like comedy is at its funniest and most vulnerable when the person on stage or the person producing it is not good looking. He or she is not that intelligent. He's the idiot, right? He's the village idiot, and we're supposed to be laughing at him. And with the writer too, you fall in love with the most flawed characters.
Sure.
Which is
characters within the text rather than the writers.
Like the most flawed character, the most flawed protagonists are the most interesting ones.
Absolutely.
Which is what made Walter White in Breaking Bad so amazing as a TV character, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like everyone else is so forgettable. But so coming back to what we started this podcast with, where you mentioned that it's hard for you to create a character that's not related to you or some version of you.
Yeah.
That could also work because I think all of us in some capacity or the other do that. Most of what we create are semblances of
absolutely
of our experiences of moments in our growing up years.
I just find it hard to make any leap of imagination at all.
Have you ever written anything that's
not
concrete or considerable?
For a creative writing program I would have written things, but most of them were rooted in.
Would they be short stories or would they be bigger pieces of fiction?
Nothing longer than 5,000 words probably.
Okay.
I know I'm not a writer, certainly not by trade, but I love to read. I read a lot of fiction. I'm excited they're revisiting the kind of best of the Booker at the moment. They're having another. They did it already.
So Salman Rushdie from Midnight Children has won.
He's won the best of the Booker about 15 times.
No, the Booker.
Yeah.
I think he'll win again.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if
they did it. For the millennium? They did the best.
Yeah, and they're doing it again.
Yeah, they're doing another best of the Booker because it's 50 years of the Booker Prize.
So I would not be surprised if Eleanor Catton wins it for the Luminaries.
I'd put money on the table now that she will not win the best of the Booker.
Why is that?
I just don't see one of the books that's won in the last 5 years winning a Best of the Booker. I think it would have to have been around for a bit longer. I just don't see.
But keeping in mind the climate, right? The political climate.
Yeah,
we don't want to talk about politics.
Sure,
but
I don't think
that we have.
I think there's probably.
But they want to give it to, someone who's already won it.
Well, the Best of the Booker will be for a Booker winner already.
No, I mean someone who's already won the other Best of the Booker awards.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was maybe Hilary Mantel or McEwen.
Hilary Mantel has won 2 Bookers, hasn't she?
Yeah, 2 for a series, right? So she's on track to publish the 3rd of that Wolf series next year, maybe this year. I think it's called something about light. Can't remember, but I'm rooting for her to win that 3rd. It'd be amazing. Big fan of the Wolf Hall books. I read Wolf Hall in 2 sittings.
Did you?
It's about 700 pages. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I read The Sense of an Ending in 1 sitting, but that's not saying much.
Shorter book, yeah.
Did you like it?
Sense of an Ending. I did.
It's the favourite book of so many people on creative writing programs, and I don't know why.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's one of those books, okay, that make
essentially framed around wanking into a sink. It's like it's not the sexiest kind of image to start with. Well, I mean, it's inherently sexy, but not sexy, if you know what I mean.
You know what its best appeal is? It's one of those books where if you consider yourself to be any sort of writer, after reading it, you go, I think I can do that. I think I can write something like that.
And then you can't.
And then you can't.
Yeah. Have you seen the film?
I've not. I don't want to watch it.
No, it looks strangely cast. I don't know. It didn't seem like a cast that matched.
It's for the same reason I've not watched Midnight Children as the movie.
I didn't know there was.
It's been made into a movie. It was made into a movie.
Almost an unfilmable novel, I would say.
And it's the same reason that I don't want to watch the film.
Yeah.
Even though I think I have the capacity to remove book from movie and vice versa. Because when you love something, as you know, and I do value good books, I put them up there, and you just don't want things to take it away from.
Yeah.
So that's that. Yeah.
Are you a reader of current fiction? Are you up to date? If I was to ask you what your top 2 or 3 books published last year were, what would they be?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to give you an answer, because what happens with me is I read every day, but most of my reading now, because of the work that I do, is restricted to opinion pieces in the New York Times.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Guardian pieces that make you go, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's that. But I reread The Reluctant Fundamentalist though.
Not read that before, no. Mohsin Hamid.
Mohsin Hamid, yeah. I reread that, and it's a pretty good book.
Mm-hmm.
It's along the lines of The Sense of an Ending.
Okay. Because
of how small it is, but 45,000 words.
Right.
So so that's that. And now most of the fiction that I read would probably be the fiction of the week from the New Yorker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I have a very bad time with remembering names and places, which actually helps me out a lot, because I have zero fear of plagiarizing. No, but that's true though. If you're one of those people who remember passages from books, right? You will find a way to put it on your pages.
So I've just finished reading very short, I guess, autobiography / literary criticism. It's called You and I by Nicholson Baker. It's from about 1991, 92. Recommended by my friend Luke, who is a literary sort of, he's a go-to man for recommendations anyway, but Nicholson Baker was an avid kind of follower of the work of John Updike, but hadn't really read much Updike at this stage. I think he'd read about 5 or 6 full Updike novels, but was kind of in awe of his style and his prose and everything, and wrote this. I think it initially started out as an essay for The Atlantic, and then he span it up into a longer piece about his kind of worship of and positioning against Updike. But there's a fantastic passage in it where he's talking about how afraid he is of plagiarising Updike, because he might use a word and then think, oh, I read that in witches of Eastwick or whatever, and then goes, I can't use that. So he's actively terrified of using these phrases. He can't think if they're in there or not. And then what's great is at the end of the essay, after finishing writing it, he's gone back in and in kind of editorial brackets, the things he's misremembered, he's corrected. So as you're reading it, he goes, oh, my favourite Updike quote is da da da, and then he's got that wrong, and then he's called himself out for misremembering, and the discrepancy with what he's remembered and how wrong he was is quite jarring. So for you to say that, remembering prose and it'll end up in the pages, our memories are so flawed that it would be so bastardised anyway, it might be hard to follow, but it was such an interesting thing for like the writing process from high level fiction writers and how they're kind of influenced by each other and tiptoeing around each other, and he kind of comes full circle because he has this very short and sweet run-in with Updike, and he mentions something that he then reads into in a later Updike novel and is confident that he then influenced Updike. And it's this like perpetual.
What's the book called again?
The letter U.
You and I.
And I.
Okay. You for Updike, of course. Yeah.
Big Updike fan myself.
Are you?
Love him. Yeah.
Are you? The last big piece of work that I read was "We Were 8 Years in Power" by Ta-Nehisi Coates, the African American writer.
Yeah. Not familiar with that.
So We Were 8 Years in Power was him following Barack Obama.
Okay, right.
Around and
sorry, yes, I know.
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah.
And he was his most famous piece of work was the Case for Reparations, which he wrote for the Atlantic. And We Were 8 Years in Power is now a book.
Right.
But he also wrote that as a series of articles for the Atlantic.
Yeah.
While I think I do not agree with Ta-Nehisi Coates politically, I like our parties are obviously be in different buckets. It was beautiful.
That's a test. Great writing you should be able to appreciate it apolitically, right? Yes. If he's articulating.
Like reading the Case for Reparations, his work, which I think he won a National Book Award for. I'm not sure though.
Piece of non-fiction.
Non-fiction, yeah. And because it wasn't the Pulitzer, and I found myself agreeing with what he was trying to say, that that white America owed Black America so much, and which is what the Indian politician and writer Shashi Tharoor, if you've heard of him, have you ever read him? He was supposed to have been he was in contention to be the Secretary General of the United Nations, but lost out to Ban Ki-moon. He argued in the Oxford Union. There's a really nice YouTube clip asking for reparations from Britain. Yeah, sorry. It's one of those clips that went viral.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So those were the similarities, and so that was the big piece of writing that I read recently.
Yeah, I think the things published recently, I would say the standout piece was non-fiction was East West Street by Philippe Sands.
Okay.
Who followed the two lawyers responsible for the terms genocide and crime against humanity. They were both Jewish guys, grew up in kind of pre-Holocaust, Lviv, which is now in Ukraine, used to be part of Poland, and he followed their story and his grandfather's story. They were up in the same town, and how these two guys from one law school ended up determining essentially what happened at the Nuremberg trials with the kind of legal framework. But amazing story, like edge of the seat kind of thriller, fascinating history, just great piece of research and fantastic book.
My reading of fiction will start again the moment I've submitted the final manuscript to the agent.
Yeah,
because I don't want to read fiction when I'm editing or rewriting or writing.
Yeah,
is that a good thing though?
Probably. I think you want to stick to your voice, right? It's almost like a character actor staying in character while they're on set, because if they drop in and out, it's harder to keep that voice up, and obviously a voice of fiction needs to be maintained over a longer period of time than being a character actor, so it's probably best to avoid other things, I would say, because you could easily slip out and slip into where you need to be. Each to their own, I guess. I'm sure some writers can. Faulkner would sit and knock a novel out in 6 weeks, but
have you ever tried reading screenplays?
I've read some screenplays.
How do you find the?
What you mean?
Just reading
without them having been made into a film, or
no? Like the screenplays that accompany the film.
Yeah, I've read screenplays to films. Yeah, but it's hard to read them and not colour them with your viewing of how the actor is delivered.
Have you seen the movie Room?
Yeah, the Emma Donahue one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the movie, read the screenplay, and read the book, and I cried all 3 times. It was that beautiful. Yeah, so I'm a bit odd. I fell asleep during the Avengers and I cried out.
Each their
in the
own.
room, yeah.
Each their own.
Have you seen the movie?
I have.
Oh, you have, yeah.
Yeah. Very impressive performances.
What's the name of the actress again? No, we don't know the name of the actress is. Yes.
I'll get back to you.
So that's that. And is there a part of you that wishes you could do a bit more writing? I had more time to do a bit more writing because both you and I are busy with what we do. And then we just add this podcast to the list of things.
Stack them up. No, I think I'll leave the writing to those more talented than myself. I think there's enough fiction out there. Take that mantle. There's enough fiction out there for me. I don't need to contribute to that pile. My pile of books to read is significant at the moment, anyway. So,
but I think a big part of why I want to, write and contribute to fiction, as you so eloquently put it, is because I want to tell our story.
Oh, as in
our stories, the world that we come from. Because I think we have quite a bit to contribute to.
Am I right in saying?
Because there's not much
there's another big author
done.
from where you're from.
Where I'm from?
Yeah. Big.
Pretty well known?
Yeah.
Who would that be? That dude?
No. She had a novel out this year.
Nutty Roy?
Yeah.
Was born in Sri Lanka, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
That is absolutely better than Michael Owen rubbish. Yeah, she's from there, right? Is she?
She was born there.
Is she?
No, she's not. She. I think she's half Bengali and half Keralite.
Okay.
Yeah. But she was born there. She spent, I think, 2 years there.
It's not bad. That's for a boy from Brentwood, that's not bad knowledge, is it?
I met her, by the way.
Have you?
Yeah, this was, I'm not kidding, I know the exact date. This was 2007. Is there a May 31st? Yes, there's the May 31st.
Yeah.
May 31st, 2007, in Shillong. Okay, she was with someone who's now her ex-husband or an ex-boyfriend, whatever, and I met her in a medical shop.
Interesting.
Yeah, I said hello to her and I told her that I was a big fan of hers. I know she obviously doesn't remember it. She probably won't.
She will when she watches this, though. She'll recognise you.
I think I can get. I think there's a few degrees of separation which will allow me to get this to her.
To her.
I think I can do that.
Do it. Make it happen.
Yeah. So So this is fun. It's this is what I want the podcast to be. Us talking about the two of us talking about books and the art of writing. It's a mix. It's a mix of everything. Things that we hope people would find commonality with.
Hopefully.
So and we've. So that's the bit about books.
That's books done.
Yeah. Cheers.